Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today is a good day. I love when Wargaming comes out with holiday or special themed things, and with Halloween quickly approaching, we've got something special here. Not only this fantastic new port, which I just love, especially considering this guy here, he's giving you the middle finger. But there's 3 ships for a special game mode. There's the Jackal, which is basically the tier 3 German battleship, the Kaiser, but look at that detail done to her. There's the Igor, which is the St. Louis, and when she's fired up, these are just electrical arcs everywhere. And then there's the Blade, which I believe more or less is the Umikaze. Actually it is. You know, 2 launchers. And the whole point of the new game mode is to escort a ship across a map against a whole ton of bots and some catapults. And rather than talk about it, we're going to jump into it right now. So here we are in a match. I'm driving the tier 11 Blade, and thing looks just as good in the game. Look at those pistons go, driving the ship forward with those big old paddle wheels. So the whole point of this mode is to escort the Transylvania across the map to the portal. Now, in between you and that portal are a number of catapults on the ground, and Mikasas, which are Mikasas, but a little more they have a bit more of a treatment than these. They're glowing green, they look great, and then there is the boss ship right at the end. And to do this, every battle I've been in so far, you have 2 Jackals, 2 Igors, and 3 Blades. And this is the only time that I have successfully completed this mission, and we almost got every single secondary task done as well. It was right at the end we failed on one of them, but I won't spoil which one. So what I've noticed so far is right away the battleships have to use AP at those catapults. Because it's a ground fort, just like in the Bastion mode, you do full damage of your shells. So if you've got AP loaded in a battleship and you hit those catapults, that's pretty much a single knockout. The destroyers have to get out in front of the Transylvania, spot the Mikasas, and just torp everything. Beyond that, a big part of it's coordinating fire as a team. The other games I've had where it hasn't worked out, the teams split up even just a bit, and single players will get focused down by the bots, and you just don't eliminate them fast enough and they start to swarm in. But let's take a second and just fly over and look at these new ships, because you can't appreciate their beauty without getting up close. And just look at those. Absolutely beautiful. But you can see it's just a Mikasa, so they're relying a lot on the secondaries, and they're quote-unquote zombie ships. So when you see at the start of the match, if zombies get too close to the Transylvania, she'll stop. That's that green ring that, as long as you are inside of, the Transylvania actually moves faster. So you want to keep at least one ship in close, escorting the Transylvania. And a good ship to do that, I would say, are the Igors, or Igors. They've got excellent fire, just like the St. Louis. You load HE and spam everything. Because the Mikasas, the second they get a first fire lit, they burn their damage control. So then you can quickly light a few more fires, and soon they've got 4 fires on them. It's a ship you no longer have to worry about. They'll burn down before they get their next damage control. And you can see at a couple points on the map, you've got catapults hidden around corners, and at that point, to me, it's the destroyers need to go for those ones around the corner, and this one off in the distance is kind of the responsibility of the battleships. And you'll see that's essentially what happens on this one. We managed to just keep peppering it down. Each one of our volleys is good for about 3,000 damage out of one of these blades. So with 3 of us up front, it doesn't take long to eliminate one, and when the shells do connect with that catapult, it's gonna be eliminated. The other thing you're gonna quickly notice is the Mikasas spawn in on point. They don't sail in from the side of the map, and they're stopped momentarily. I haven't quite figured out what causes them to spawn in, whether it's just the Transylvania getting to a location or the destroyers running ahead. As you can see, we're pretty far ahead, and we got really close to them, which makes me want to try just running out way ahead using the speed boost to see if A, I can trigger more of them to spawn. If that's the case, you know, maybe it's a bad idea to do that, but if they don't, you can get yourself in a position where the second they spawn you can dump 4 torpedoes right into their broadside. The other thing I've noticed about this mode is in the matches I've played, pretty much every shell that hits me lights me on fire, until I added damage control 1. Then it's about a 95% chance of fire. I don't know what the actual stats are, but the fires both for and against seem a lot higher than normal. And those catapults will wreck you if they get a direct hit. So far though, you can see the Transylvania is an excellent health, 56,000. I've been in games where at this point the Transylvania is already below half health. So it shows just how important actually getting out, wiping out targets before they get to you, getting rid of those catapults, because they will just start hurling those blazing rocks at whatever they get their eyes set on and do some real damage very quickly. We're not even really halfway so far, and I think we're doing well. You can see, looking around, I'm on really good health. Really, our whole team is. None of us have taken any big hits. And that's, I'd say, the other keys. Sure, every single one of the ships has repair party, and you are going to need it with the number of fires that light, but you do have to conserve your energy, or not your energy, your health. And to me, part of that just comes down to, by the destroyers going ahead, you can see every one of these catapults is trying to hit me, and I'm just weaving and ducking and really forcing them to shoot at me rather than the rest of my team, who won't be as lucky to be able to dodge because they're not a destroyer. And one of the things I have really enjoyed about this mode so far, and kind of hated, is that it requires good teamwork. It requires everyone to play and really want to do what's best for the team. And when it happens, like this game, it feels great. You accomplish something, you get your little token for completing one of these battles, and making it all the way through, getting the Transylvania to the game. And you just feel good at the end because you've killed a slew of ships, you kind of overcame the odds. Because the games when teams don't play together, you evaporate so quickly.
Smokescreen set.
The other thing I will mention is the Mikasas don't seem to do a very good job dodging torps, even at range. So as long as you account for that spawn in plus them having to speed up and that lead, you're going to get a lot of good torp hits in, especially at the outer edge of your range. As you can see, those ones are looking good, but the ones I launched a while back, way over there, are, oh, well, there. They just hit, and that was a target that was outside 8 kilometers away when this all started. So, if you're in a DD, if you're driving the blade, just get those torps into the water early and often, and you just take about 50% of the pressure off your team. The other thing you have to do is what Captain Kuro is doing here, and that is get up ahead, use your smoke to create kind of walls to A, get into and work on the catapults because you've got to get rid of them, but it also seems to really mess with those enemies when they spawn. And you'll see here in a few moments a bunch of Mikasas are going to spawn in, And we're all in excellent position to just start throwing torps into the water. And while we're waiting for them to spawn, we've wiped out 2 of the remaining catapults. There's now 1 left, and that's what I'm going for. Because once the catapults are off the map, it's just a huge thing you don't have to worry about. Just a bunch of passive damage you're no longer taking. And this is the final wave. We've got 4 Mikasas over here, another 2 running up in the rear, that group of 3 that's been chasing us for this whole thing, which I've never found that group of 3 to be a particular problem, especially if you're boosting the Transylvania's speed. But spawning at the gate is the Rasputin. And it is deadly. Tons of health, way more guns, and you'll see what I mean. But when it spawns, you have to quickly eliminate all these Mikasas that spawn off to the side here, because if you don't, they'll get in close to your Transylvania and they just go for the ram. You know, they're zombies, they're after brains. And you can see from the second they spawn in, that's really what they do. They're trying to drive straight at the Transylvania. You know, if you drew a line off every one of these bows, pretty much guarantee you they crash into that Transylvania. And so far, the team has done a great job quickly eliminating targets, and that's the reason this match has been as successful as it is. You can see I'm continuing to close the Rasputin, but I'm working on the Mikasas behind me. My guns aren't what's going to kill this guy, it's going to be torpedoes. And I want to get as close as I can in my smoke, start dumping torpedoes. I'm going to sit here as long as possible, at least until I'm hard spotted. And once he gets in that hard spot range, I'm going to kick it into gear, and I want to flank him. I want to get around behind those guns, out of the danger arc, and start putting, consistently 4 torps per volley into his broadside, because that's 200,000 hit points that you've got to work down. And even with torps, there's 4 torps. Not a lot of damage knocked off. We do have him, however, under half health, and that's a big accomplishment so far. I mess up here with my torps. I thought he would keep turning, and he quickly doubles back after eating those friendly torps. All of mine missing, so I continue to flank, just trying to keep myself moving out of gunfire. I'm just waiting for those torps to come back. I get them, still right on his broadside. Unfortunately, he knocks one set out right as they're about to reload. And then I start falling back, and we've got him. And you'd think it's almost over, but it's not. And so far, we've done everything. We sank the Rasputin. We killed 16 enemies, we got rid of all the catapults. Transylvania still has half her health, but we're gonna fail on one of the missions, and it's over here on the right. You're gonna see England get inside that circle, it'll go red, the Transylvania stops, and we fail on one of our objectives, which kind of stunk. We made it so far. I did 107,000 damage. She just got inside. You could see Armored Chimera there. Was going for the ram, hoping to keep him outside, but it wasn't to be. So at this point, the match is over. We're basically just waiting for it to end and sail into the portal. For those of you who haven't seen this, haven't tried it out, I highly recommend it. It's a blast. It doesn't affect any of your normal ratings, so you can just go have fun, and you can make some really good money. There's challenges that are how you earn money in this. If you enjoyed it, consider giving me a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash, and I'm going to have another one for you tomorrow.